Mic on.
Wow, you know this works better if I remember to unmute the microphone. Uh, damn, two different places you gotta hit unmute around here. We need to get that consolidated to one just to keep me out of trouble. Um, anyways, it is Sci-Fi Monday, but we do not have a game tonight, so I'm going to do a little world building in our sci-fi world, our homebrew campaign world. Um, it's a little bit behind our fantasy world, so I'm going to try to catch it up a little bit tonight so that it's at least in session parity with my fantasy homebrew. All right, I do have Fantasy Grounds loaded up, and that is not Fantasy Grounds. What is going on here? Oh, okay. Well, there's Hexographer. So what is this? This is Chrome. Things need to be relabeled. Is there a rename? And keep me out of trouble if I can tell what the hell is what. There we go. Sorry folks, little maintenance on my end. Somewhere around here there is a Fantasy Grounds console open. There it is. Maybe. Why is it... Okay. Hide. And then you can't see the capture. There it is. Took me a minute. So, okay. We built out a little bit of our adventure last time and ran through an encounter. I just want to kind of review where that's at, if I can. Let's see, combat tracker. There's our three players. I need to add a player to our space game. And then encounter wise, can I drop that in there? Yes, I can drop that in there. This is not round 5, it is round 1. I'm going to trigger it to roll initiative for everybody. That would put them in combat order. Alright. So if we were to run through the combat, let's just say this baddie's going to target him. And okay, fine. Well, he's going to target it right back when it's his turn. But let's just go ahead and have it launch an attack. Let's see if it would hit. Okay. And that's a miss. Okay, then it would follow to... Oh, wait a minute. I was on the wrong person. Gotta love when me and the initiative tracker are not on the same page with each other. Okay, so it's going to roll an attack. Oh, that's definitely going to hit. And do a significant chunk of damage. Okay, so his armor reduced the damage, but didn't reduce all of it, so he ended up taking and losing a significant chunk of his endurance as a result of that hit. So that's going to impact his functionality in play. Alright. Let's say he's going to target the same creature that attacked him. And what does he want to do in terms of an attack? Well, I would say there we go. Let's get his player character out here. In terms of actions, shotgun or stunner? What do y'all think tonight? Anybody have a preference? I say shotgun, but that's just me. I tend to be a little on the vicious side. Alright. He gets a +2 to attack on that weapon. He gets a +2 on the stunner as well, so that would be a hit. And then he would throw damage. Okay, so now you see that creature has been reduced to 14 hit points from its 29. Alright, that would be the end of his turn. Rolling on. Oh, we're going to go ahead, because we haven't even engaged the second one, but we've got one already wounded. So let's keep on rolling with attacking the one that's wounded. Right? Eliminate an enemy as quick as you can. Alright, shotgun and stunner again. So +2 to attack. The dice sucked, even with the modifier, so that was a miss. Alright. Let's see. Auto pistol, frag grenade, or shotgun. Well, I think Matthew, the way he did this last time, was dropped a frag grenade. So let's kind of follow in that same pattern. Oh, did I target an enemy? I did. Please hit. And it's a miss. Damn, we just wasted a grenade. Alright, well, this thing recognizes you're throwing shit at him. So he's coming after your ass. Oh, and he hits. So this could end up being an ugly fight tonight, just for testing purposes. Well, that was supposed to be the damage roll. Why did it not roll the damage? It hit him, but it did not damage him. Why is it rolling the 2d6 as if it's an attack, and instead of the 4d6, which would be the damage? There we go. Alright, so no actual damage here. It would roll over to the second combat round. Okay. Whoops, trying to grab the dice. Not the... So that's going to be a hit. Well, I have a feeling Alec's about to be unconscious. Yeah, his second stat. Endurance is now 0, strength is now 1. As soon as 2 stats fall to 0, the player goes unconscious or the character goes unconscious. So yeah, and because of his endurance and strength being so low, the way this game operates, he would have decreased endurance and decreased strength, so it's actually going to negatively impact your attack. So this is the difference between Traveler and D&D. In D&D, you have a pool of hit points, and it's assumed that you're able to give 100% all the way up to the point until you hit 0. Whereas with Traveler, as you're playing, as you're fighting, as you take damage, it actually decreases your ability scores, treating them as if they're your hit points, because you have no true hit points as a player. So as your abilities are damaged, your ability to do damage to others decreases. So it has a debilitating effect on the characters. So in this case, we're going to roll to attack here, but with these debilitating scores, chances are, unless he rolls really, really high and gets a really lucky die, roll, then chances are he's going to miss. But let's go ahead and let the dice play out the attack. A 2 and a 2, plus his ability modifier, which would be a 2. But see, that's a 6. That's going to be a miss. So, okay. Fucking confused. Right now, all these player characters are owned by me because I kind of took over them as I was using them for simulation. Throw them attack dice. That's a hit. And so now we got to roll damage. Okay, one enemy down at this point, right? That would end his turn. And then it would be Matt's turn. Okay, so Matt's going to target this one since it's the remaining creature. Oh, do we want a frag grenade with a +1 to the attack, or do we want to shotgun it with a +2? I say we shotgun it just because we have a better chance, right? Shotgun that bitch. And unfortunately, it's a miss. Ugh. Alright, so then this creature rolls over to its attack. Marginal success. Okay, what kind of damage are we looking at? Oh, very lucky. Oh, wait, it rolled those as... No, we're not trying to roll D6, 2d6s. We're trying to roll the actual damage. I guess that is not a die there, so that would be the damage roll. Okay. Looks like his armor still absorbed the bulk of the attack. Rolling around to the third round of combat. Poor Alec is in no fighting shape, but let's try it just to see. Shotgun. Oh, wait. He has to deselect an enemy. Yes. Take that off. Okay, because the enemy he was fighting is dead, he has to target this one. Okay, let's roll that attack again. And actually got lucky and hit, even in this debilitated state. Clinging to life. Okay, we've cut that thing down to 15 points of health remaining. Alright. Let's continue this shotgun attack just because it does the most damage. And unfortunately, we're not hitting. So this tells me we probably need to reevaluate some of the metrics in terms of the player character skills to give them a better advantage in combat. There you go. Rolled a 9, combat the modification of 11, so going to do some significant damage, hopefully, and that's it. Both creatures dead, but we also have a player character, a character down. So good to know, for simulations, that we need to probably clean this up a little bit more and improve those character skills. So let's take a look at this just for kicks and grins, since this was in initiative order. Let me go ahead and heal these guys back up all the way. Okay. Nice, there's just a reset button there. I do have the luck attribute added to my players just because I want to use it. Okay, and then alright, so all stats are healed up. So let's take a look at this from a player character perspective. He has a +2 to attack with the auto pistol, +1 with the frag grenade, and +2 with the shotgun. So gun combat, he's level 2. That's where that level 2 bonus comes from. So you could improve him by adding an additional skill level of combat, gun combat. The other thing that you can do, and I have to look at this, would be for the frag grenade. If I remember correctly, the frag grenade, is that considered a heavy weapon? Let's look at that. So it's going to be under equipment items, weapons, frag grenade. Okay, so it doesn't say here, but I'm pretty sure he would have to have a grenade launcher, which is going to class as a heavy weapon. Yeah. And so then his heavy weapon attribute would kick in, which would give him a +2. So because he doesn't have a grenade launcher, he's just getting, I'm willing to bet, a dexterity bonus. Yeah, that's where the +1 is coming from. The modification is coming from +1 from dex. So 2 ways to do this. Don't use that weapon because you only get a +1 with it, or come back with the grenade launcher, and that would allow him to use the heavy weapon skill using the grenade launcher to get the +2. Without the grenade launcher, you're going to get a +1. So just a little bit of game mechanics going on there. Alright. Kind of the same situation here. Dex modifier 1. Skill wise, we've got 2 levels of gun combat. We don't have any heavy weapons, so bump up the skill level here. The other thing we can do, and probably need to look at this on Alex sheet. Okay, we got tech level 7 cloth armor on him. Probably the same here. TL7 cloth armor. Whereas Matthew, is outfitted with TL12 combat armor. So the higher level armor obviously can absorb more damage before it passes it on to the wearer. So um, definitely an area where it's time to spend some of your currency. You got 20,000 credits. We need to go look at armor. What does good armor cost? It's probably going to make you cry. Okay, so if we wanted a TL12, yeah, that's 88,000 credits for that armor. He's on TL7 cloth armor. We could bump him up to TL10 cloth armor, which is going to be almost as effective as TL10 combat armor. But notice the difference is you also have to have vac suit skills in order to use the combat armor. So, yeah, armor is not cheap. So just things to take into consideration. So, all right, going back to here. Weapon-wise, his actions, yeah, you got a +2 with a shotgun, +2 with a stunner. Now, if you wanted to look at some other weapons, you know, we have energy weapons. But if you look at the damage that it's going to do, I mean 3d6 with a laser pistol versus 4d6 with a shotgun. Give me the shotgun, put the pew pew away for another day, right? So, plenty of things you can do there. Why is it showing? Gotta love when Streamlabs desktop is doing stupid things and being in the way of what I'm doing. Didn't realize I had a window in the way. It was capturing the whole screen. Gonna have to fix that. Okay. So, weapon-wise, probably not a whole lot you can do here. I mean, your gun skill. You're going to pick a gun combat style weapon and go that route. Get into some different rifles. Gauss rifle, which is basically a almost like a railgun style weapon. It's considered a slug weapon, so as opposed to a energy weapon. All right, let's pop out of here. Let's go do a little world building review and catch up tonight, because we've got to. So let's look at where our world is. Okay. Mapping wise, we've got things pretty much under control. Let's bring in and look at what we've got done, or what we've yet to get done in terms of world building. So food sources, you know, plant-based foods, meat sources, locally grown. The one specialization that I haven't decided here yet with our sci-fi world is, what are we doing with the kelp farms? Are we using them for medicine? Are we using them for, you know, textiles? Are we using them for armor? Are we using them for food? So I've got to come back and determine what the kelp production signifies. It's got to be something fairly significant, or maybe a multi-use resource, simply because we've got we're building our spaceport around this, or sits in the middle of this. So it's something we'll have to dig around and come back to. Okay. Session 9. Farmed animals. I think we're going to keep this pretty much the same. So this is where my two worlds can be in parity, my fantasy world and my sci-fi world, and just kind of flow with it. So far so good. Session 10, natural predators, lions, tigers, and bears, oh my. As we saw what a hyena-like creature on Market can do. With our travelers, it's best to either fight from a distance or don't fight at all and run like hell. So I think we can leave these alone. I will be creating some customs just for encounter purposes as we go on. Climate and seasons. I think we're going to stick with the standard 4 seasons. You know what, for kicks and grins, I think because my fantasy world has dual moons, we'll keep dual moons for our sci-fi setting as well, just for kicks and grins. Trade routes and travel. Now, I have not done this for my fantasy world or my sci-fi world. So this is going to be this week's activity. Trade routes and travel. So let's go ahead and plug this in. Rename. This is today's air date. Woot! Can you believe it is the end of February already? Most common mode of travel. So boat and rail are going to be your lowest cost, because the large amount of goods they can transport is going to bring the cost down. Aircraft is going to be more expensive. Shuttle is going to be your most expensive, because at that point you're assuming you're going up to the high port or the deep port. So major trade routes, deep port to down port. That's going to be from your undersea harvesting to your surface, and then your down port to high port. Raw materials, kelp, none. And then this is going to be city to city, multiple, varies, intraplanetary trade. This is going to be intraplanetary and interplanetary trade. So that's going to be surface to surface or surface to stellar for everything. So I think that's kind of a good way to flesh that out. How long do goods take to get from point A to point B? Impact on migration, employment, family relationships. Are travelers viewed with excitement and fascination or with mistrust and fear? Most common mode of travel. So things that I need to factor in for my other environment. Important trade towns. This needs to come back to the mapping and be reviewed. So let's take a look at our map, shall we? So this is going to be your down port and your deep port. So all of these cities are going to factor trade in some fashion. Most of them city to city. Some of them are going to be city to down port, and from there debark to high port or deep port. So just things to think of, and things I need to factor in is what's going where, who are the major trade centers for each. You know, you get into these northern climes with a lot more mountainous region and cities around it. You know, we could be dealing in stone, we could be dealing in furs. I mean, pretty much anything that comes out of the mountains or the forest. I mean, you could be dealing with gems and metals. So it just depends on who, what, where, and when, right? We're going to export ice because so few planets have it in its polar caps. Going to be ours soon at the rate our planet's going. Okay. Let's go back and review from a prior session. So it's going to be time to start associating city names with cities. So it'll be time to associate these. So let's just kind of get a look here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 60. So we have about 62 city names that we've got to have fleshed out. Looking at our map, coming back to that from a perspective of what I've done so far, we don't have nearly enough city names. Gonna have to work on that. So I need to come up with more city names, probably at least another column's worth of each. So let's put that on my to-do list. And this is going to be pretty high on the to-do list because expand city names, both fantasy and sci-fi settings. Because yeah, we don't have enough city names. Other things on my to-do list is defining specialty foods that are geographic in nature or are tied to a tradition or custom, maybe a religious rite or a rite of passage. We've got to come up with a calendar. Okay, talking about the specialty foods, we also need to expand the traditions and customs. So we need holiday feasts, religious ceremonies, and I need to kind of explore superstitions. These apply to just the fantasy setting. All right. So we definitely need to expand our cities. We need at least another column of each because there's what, 10 to a column for the human. So yeah, that would give us 30. And then this only gives us 8. So realistically, we need to add quite a bit to our town names for okay. Yes. That'll give me some homework to do between now and Wednesday, or maybe for Wednesday night, to come up with some more city names. Alright. Not going to make any changes to food sources based on that. Farmed animals, natural predators, climates and seasons. Trade routes need to come into play for both. So let's go. That's session 12. Rename. This will be Wednesday. Wednesday night's activity for that. Let me just go ahead and zap that for now. Alright. And then once we've got some more town names built out, it'll be time to start assigning them to geographic locations. So I guess we'll sit down and look at the map and start plucking names off the list and assigning them to towns and figuring out what towns are what function. You know, what are going to be their main products produced and, you know, being traded. Alright, so that is a chunk for the to-do list. 14 government structure is coming up. Pardon me, I need to get a drink of water. Ooh, I'm glad my allergies are not killing me. I did mow tonight, so it's a surprise that it hasn't got the better of me. So I think that's going to be it for tonight. I think this is just going to be a short session because I've got some more homework that needs to be addressed before we can continue. City names need to be developed. And added to the list before we can actually continue with into session 13, which would be trade towns. In terms of trade routes in our sci-fi setting, aircraft and shuttle are going to be your fastest. Boat's going to be your slowest. Rail's going to be somewhere in between, just depending on how far we're going. What goods are we going to be trading? We're going to be trading metals, gems. What other items in a science setting? I mean, raw materials. We can say raw materials. And finished products. Oh, you know what? I don't even have my Google Doc shared. Oh, good God. Let's go through this from the beginning. I am asleep at the wheel tonight, apparently. Okay, to-do list. City names. These are the items that need to be worked on. I need to expand probably another 10 human cities, and at least triple the Starfinder and Traveler city names. I don't have enough for assigning to the map. And there's nothing that says I have to put a label on every city for now. We can do that as we're using the homebrew setting. Common food shared between the sci-fi and fantasy settings. Farmed animals, again, shared between the two. Natural predators. Now there will be some custom creature, you know, the creature feature factory. We'll be cranking out custom creatures as we're playing. So I sat and watched campaign 1, episode 1 of Critical Role when they are going into Craghammer, and Matt Mercer, who DMs Crit Roll, had taken a Naga, and if you don't know what a Naga is, I'll show you, and had done a custom Naga as kind of like an aberration, like somebody is experimenting. Let's use the FR wiki. Except it had like 5 heads sewn onto it instead of just one head. So it was truly kind of an aberration. And of course D&D 5th edition doesn't have a picture. We have a Spirit Naga. Okay, there we go. Large monstrosity, chaotic evil. That's all you need to know. Lots of hit points and nasty as hell. Look at this thing cast spells. So anyways, he takes, you know, some of your published creatures, and he will modify them for his campaign, which is, you know, and then he comes up with some fantastic creatures all of his own. So you know, you got to start someplace, so why not? I'll kind of follow in that same footstep. So when it comes time to populating a campaign environment, I'll be doing the exact same thing. So not gonna lie. Alright, so, and those, to me, yeah, those will be natural predators, but those are not something that I need to sit down and create now. I'm going to create them as story dictates, because let's face it, D&D and Traveler and Starfinder, it isn't, you know, it's about the players and their story and what they do and how what they do changes the story, the narrative. So it's kind of a, almost kind of like a cooperative storytelling type thing. Climates and seasons, we're going to stick with the standard 4 seasons. I'm not going to get crazy with this. And in league with this, or along with this, the development of the seasons, I'm going to need to develop a calendar for both environments, for both homebrew settings. So that's definitely, that's way over on my to-do list as well. So once we've got the cities, the remaining cities fleshed out, the next trip is going to be start assigning trade hubs status to different locations, what they're going to be trading in, who they're going to be trading with, and what impact that has on the local environment. You know, migration, employment, family dynamics, all of that kind of stuff. World building gets a little bit imposing at times to do this. And then, so we'll define, really I think this is ass backwards. You can't really define your trade routes until you've defined your trade towns. So I'm not, I'm gonna plead the fifth here. I didn't, this is not my material. This is material that I am using and studying from to build this gaming environment. And so I can pawn that off as the author's doing. But so I think we'll get our cities fleshed out. Then we're going to define the cities, and then we will come back and define the trade routes and travel for those cities. It just makes more sense to do it in that order instead of this ass backwards order. All right, let's take a look at inside of our mapping. Let me turn off the Chrome view for a while. Transition over. So we need to name the down port. Notice it has both shipping and a rocket symbol, so that signifies this port is the, you know, kind of the main hub for the planet. Have to determine what cities perform what functions. Some of these are going to be little villages, as you can see. And then there are going to be towns. And then others are going to be Chicago in size. Or Houston, since that's close to me. We're not going to get crazy. Yeah, we are. If I've already got 60 cities on the map, we've already gotten crazy. There's no two ways around it, that's for sure. Why isn't... Interesting. I guess Twitch is having some issues with me this evening. I'm not sure why. Alright. So, plenty of homework. I probably should have studied this a little more this evening, but I wanted to get the lawn done, so kind of just jumped in with both feet this evening. Other than that, my next stream will be Wednesday evening. I'm going to continue world building both in our fantasy and sci-fi settings. Hope you'll join me. This is going to be a short stream tonight. We'll kick it over to Wednesday night and have a house party and try to knock out sessions 12 and 13 combined. I've got some homework to do between now and then to create some city names and start thinking in terms of what they're going to trade so that I can come to the table with that information ready to go. So appreciate you tuning in. As always, if you're your first time here and you enjoyed the content, make sure you hit that follow button and turn on those notifications. Other than that, we will see you next time. Appreciate you tuning in and have a good rest of your evening.
Mic off.